Twitter suspends account of Paul Graham, a respected venture capitalist who's supportive of Elon Musk after he tweets about Mastodon link. Folks, Paul Graham, a widely respected venture capitalist who's been supportive of Elon Musk's efforts at Twitter, had his Twitter account suspended on Sunday. The suspension followed a tweet in which Graham wrote, "This is the last straw. I give up. You can find a link to my new Mastodon profile on my site." In that tweet, he linked to a new Twitter policy that forbids users from linking out to competing social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Truth Social, Tribal, Post, and Nostr. That policy also forbids using various ways to get around the rule, such as writing Instagram dot spelled out .com/username to avoid creating an actual link. Folks, can somebody say censorship and infringement of free speech? Man, Elon Musk has really been on a roll here lately, hasn't he? Sometimes the hardest part about money isn't making it, but actually keeping it. Analysts say Elon Musk will likely step down from Twitter as the company is on track to lose roughly $4 billion. Ouch. All right, folks, we're going to discuss more on that later in the video. My name is Kevin, Kevin in all caps. My YouTube handle is @Kevin247. Please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like. I would appreciate it. Check out the links in the description for more valuable information. Please beware of the bots and spam in the comments. They're not me. They are out there to get you. So I will never try to contact you through WhatsApp or try to invest money for you. So please avoid the bots and the spammers and the scammers in the comment section. If you want to reach me, check out the description. My contact information can be found there. All right, now let's get started. So although the White House has gone silent on whether it will return the $5.2 million in donations from Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, after a White House spokesperson dodged point-blank questioning on whether President Joe Biden is planning to return the political donations from Sam Bankman-Fried, former FTX CEO. And as you are all aware, FTX filed for bankruptcy on November 11th, and Bankman-Fried stepped down as CEO. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, has since alleged that he orchestrated a years-long scheme to defraud investors. Now, it appears the Biden administration isn't necessarily hurting for money, though, after what is being defined as some of the U.S. government having made the oil trade of the year, releasing 180 million barrels of crude from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the SPR, between March and the end of this year. In an effort to blunt the effect of rising prices, the U.S. government appears to have made about $4 billion as prices have fallen dramatically over the course of the year. So, perhaps maybe Ukraine and Zelensky should be very, very happy about that, because I'm sure Biden will end up sending that money and possibly billions more to them in aid to continue fighting. However, Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil producer, warns the world should be worried after issuing a dire warning over extremely low capacity. So, according to Saudi Aramco, the global oil market remains tight, and that does not bode well for a world that still relies heavily on fossil fuels. Saudi Aramco CEO Ayman Nasser said at a recent conference in London, "Today there's scarce capacity that is extremely low. And if China opens up, the economy starts improving, or the aviation industry starts asking for more jet fuel, we will erode this spare capacity." Nasser warns that oil prices could quickly spike again. He said, "When you erode that spare capacity, the world should be worried. There will be no space for any hiccup, any interruption, any unforeseen events anywhere around the world." And as if we don't have enough to worry about, folks, a recession looks more and more likely, lasting through most of 2023. Inflation remains high, along with interest rates, and more Americans continue to find themselves in dire financial straits. But according to financial TikTok influencer Ryan Halbert, it's only going to get much worse for these people in particular. So, if you're making less than $25 an hour, in fact, he says you should be terrified.
If you're making less than $25 an hour right now, you should be terrified. If you are making less than 25, you're going to be very pissed off by the time we get to the end of this video. So this information here is going to scare the shit out of you. I just spent some time looking at some monthly averages of regular costs of living all across the U.S., average costs. And I put them all in a spreadsheet and did all the math for you so you can see exactly what this big picture is here. So these are just normal expenses that most single consumers have, and this is all of them laid out national average right here. The average cost of an apartment is $1,659 a month. With groceries, you're going to spend $500 on that, and you go down the list here. But add all that up, you're looking at $3,285 a month just in your cost of living expenses. Which means to break even and just squeeze by paycheck to paycheck, you have to be making $3,285 every 4 weeks. So this is calculated at your monthly income at a 40-hour work week, so it's your hourly rate times 160 hours for 4 weeks in a month. Because I don't believe anybody should have to work more than a 40-hour week just to survive. Now this tax column represents how much you'd be paying each month in taxes after you add up all your withholdings. I figured this out by looking at my pay stubs from the last time I was an employee about 6 years ago. So you got your gross income, you got your net income after you pay this tax, which would go in this column. I didn't fill it all in. The first time you see a number higher than this number is at $25 an hour. And it could even get worse than that because chances are you're going to be paying more than 16% in total withholdings. Add anything like child support or alimony to that and forget about it. So this leaves you with very limited options. You either have to kill yourself working way too many hours, or you've got to figure out a way to make a ton of money. And also keep in mind, these expenses are factoring in doing nothing. No free time, no going out to eat, no extra miles on the car, nothing. You didn't have a breakdown that month. You incurred no additional hardships. This is just your cost of living and what you have to make in order to cover it. Now, human instinct is to say, all right, what can we cut out of that cost of living to make it a little bit more affordable? But here's the problem with that. Life already sucks because you're living paycheck to paycheck, and now you're going to make it worse by taking away some of the luxuries that you have that you are actually needs. Even if you took out your cell phone, your internet, and your streaming, you'd save about $200 a month. The only thing you could put additional in your pocket is $200 ever. That will never increase. So you have to increase your income. It's a must. So you can do that by working more hours, or you can get a side hustle which makes you supplement your income, which I talk about plenty of those in my other videos. Go check them out. But what happens when you're 65 and all that extra money you made from working those hours was spent having fun and you can't retire now? You got to keep on working until you basically drop dead. You've got to invest. You have to invest. Make more money so you can invest the money to make yourself better off in the future. Follow me if you want to get unstuck.
In a video that quickly went viral, Halbert broke down the average cost of living in America. And it certainly is terrifying. After putting together all the typical essentials like rent, groceries, gas, water, the total average cost came to $3,285.37 per month. Broken down to a 40-hour work week, that means you need to be making a minimum, at minimum, $20.50 per hour. So Halbert's video sparked an important discussion among viewers, and many experts don't quite agree entirely with the viral TikTok short video. So Halbert discussed some of the responses, like making cuts to try and keep your costs in check. This might include your streaming services, cable, internet, cell phone, and other expensive reoccurring costs. But Halbert goes on to say that this isn't a real solution. And he adds, you'll only ever be able to put an extra $200 or so in your pocket, adding, that will never increase. So you have to increase your income. It's a must. This crisis only seems to be getting worse, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Current employment statistics for November 2022 showed that real average hourly earnings fell almost 2% from the year before. Halbert suggests working side hustles isn't going to create enough income, especially if you want to retire someday. Instead, it's going to be investing. He says that's the only way. But when asked, YouTube channel The Ramsey Show said it's certainly not the only way. Ken Coleman, a career coach with The Ramsey Show, commented, "This is absolutely nonsense." Coleman, alongside The Ramsey Show co-host George Kamel, admitted that while they realize many Americans feel this way, it's simply inaccurate. They specifically pointed out that the average used car payment was closer to $700, but also that the average rent would be closer to the $1,659 only in higher cost cities. And they did grant Halbert some points, including that Americans continue to hand over their hard-earned cash to lenders. They think, well, this is the path. This is how I get financial freedom. This is what success looks like. But we teach no debt, pay for things with cash, get reasonable used cars. So this is a big part of the picture of why there's no margin in this person's budget, according to George Kamel. But where the pair really had an issue was that the only solution was to kill yourself working or accept this fate. That's because what Halbert doesn't cover in this video are real solutions to cost savings. For example, the pair feel you shouldn't be paying $1,659 in rent as a single person. Instead, they suggest you find at least one roommate to cut costs in half or sell that car you can't afford. In the end, Coleman says that usually these are simply periods in your on your path to financial freedom. This isn't a sentence. This is a season of your life, but it's not a life sentence. General opinion? Make more money, live below your means, take on roommates or additional family to help with monthly costs. Some would say this is all easier said than done, though. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let us know. So, you may or may not be surprised to find out that it has been reported that Donald Trump was not completely honest about his financial status, as it has emerged that he had almost $20 million in undisclosed debt when he first ran for president back in 2016. And according to Vanity Fair, Donald Trump had millions in unreported debt to a company with ties to North Korea while serving as president, which raises the question of what else might we not know? Meteorologists and weathermen and weatherwomen are warning people to prepare for a massive winter storm. Brace yourself for a white Christmas.
Yes, it is. It's a bit nipply out. I mean nippy out. What did I say, nipple? There is a nip in the air, though.
Can I take something out for you?
Yes, with much of the country covered in snow over the holiday weekend. Forecasts report that this year a far-reaching, highly impactful winter storm system will affect millions of Americans across the country starting on Wednesday, with peak impacts expected from Thursday through early Saturday, Christmas Eve. As the winter storm continues its trek across the nation, it's very likely that the northern plains and upper Midwest and Great Lakes area will see a white Christmas with all the snow left behind. Some areas may see 1 to 2 feet of snow in the days leading up to the holiday. Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and the Dakotas look very likely to see a white Christmas. Blizzard conditions are expected in parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes starting on Thursday, likely leading to devastating impacts on holiday travel across the region. The Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and most of Michigan have the best shot at seeing a white Christmas this year. Northern Nebraska, northern Iowa, parts of Illinois, including Chicago and northern Indiana, also have the best chance of having more than an inch of snow on the ground to make it an official white Christmas. If you prefer to avoid this intense Arctic blast, perhaps consider spending the holiday in California, because as of right now, it looks like Los Angeles will be one of the country's warm spots with a high temperature of around 76 degrees. But if you're heading to the left coast, be careful, because a huge 6.4 magnitude earthquake just hit the Northern California coast. Folks, that was a big one. So, a magnitude 6.4 earthquake rattled Northern California early Tuesday morning, causing some damage and leaving thousands without power in Humboldt County. The quake was reported at 2:34 a.m. on Tuesday, 11 miles from Fortuna, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, and on social media, some reported that the quake caused furniture to move and its items to fall to the floor. There was no immediate word on injuries and no tsunami was expected. Pacific Gas and Electric reported significant power outages from Arcata south to Rio Del. Scanner traffic indicated that authorities were also dealing with gas leaks, some reports of structural damage as well. And the Humboldt County Sheriff said on Twitter, power is out across the county, urging residents to avoid calling 911 unless there was an emergency. So pay attention, folks. If you ever find yourself in a situation, 911 may not be your first line of defense if you really needed help. Some residents reported receiving an electric quake alert on their phone before strong shaking began. One resident said on Twitter, that earthquake was insane. A good 15 to 20 seconds of shaking. The quake struck along the coast south of Eureka in a seismically active part of California. It was felt across the North Coast region. Exactly 1 year ago, the same area was hit by a magnitude 6.2 quake that shattered windows and caused some damage. The USGS said that On Tuesday, earthquakes occurred 17 miles from Eureka, 24 miles from Arcata, California, and 30 miles from McKinleyville, California, and it was followed by numerous aftershocks. Wow, folks, I've never experienced an earthquake myself. I bet it is extremely terrifying. Now, all right, folks, now back to Twitter and, back to Elon Musk and this Twitter situation. Folks, a broader bear market has taken the S&P 500 down over 20% this year, with high-growth tech stocks faring the worst as central banks worldwide raise interest rates to fight inflation. Now, Elon Musk's Tesla is the perfect example. The EV giant's shares have dropped more than 62% in 2022 amid fears that demand for vehicles may wane as rising interest rates dampen global economic growth. And Tesla has been dealing with another overhang over the past year as well. Musk's decision to buy Twitter for $44 billion and sell roughly $40 billion in Tesla stock. Folks, Wedbush tech analyst Dan Ives believes the acquisition was the most overpaid in the history of the tech space, and he argues Musk is using Tesla to fund what could be a $4 billion per year of red ink at Twitter. That's a loss, folks. But he said on Monday that there may be hope for the EV leader yet, as Musk, who recently lost his title as the world's richest person, will likely step down as Twitter's CEO after a new Twitter poll he posted on Sunday. Musk asked his more than 122 million followers if he should step down as head of Twitter, saying that he promised to abide by the results, and 57.5% responded yes, with an overwhelming response from other Twitter poll saying that Snoop Dogg should step up to the plate and run Twitter. Now, if the billionaire follows through, Ives said it should allow him to refocus on Tesla. It appears Musk's reign as CEO of Twitter will come to an end and thus be a major positive for Tesla's stock, starting to slowly remove this albatross from the story. Now, this is what Ives wrote. Now, it says that time to end this nightmare as CEO of Twitter. I mean, if you're going to ruin a company, just ruin one, don't ruin two, Tesla traded up as much as 4% in morning trading, but quickly reversed its gains and is now down over 2.5%. Now, folks, this is a wild ride as CEO for Elon Musk, as Twitter takeover has been anything but boring. After a months-long will he, won't he saga, Musk was forced to buy Twitter for his initial offer price of $54.20 per share, or $44 billion, and he quickly saddled the company with billions in debt. Now, Twitter has to make roughly $1.2 billion in annual interest payments, and to do that, Musk has to cut costs and boost revenue, which was the driving force behind him laying off so many employees. Now, the billionaire CEO opted to launch a new $8 per month verification plan last month to help accomplish this, but things quickly went awry. Trolls took advantage of the new offering, impersonating corporations and celebrities. I've said that the botched plan made advertisers run for the hills. Not a good move, Musk. And now Musk is reportedly not paying rent at some of Twitter's San Francisco offices and selling off assets, including espresso machines and sculptures, in an effort to cut costs. Man, the billionaire CEO has also received criticism for seemingly going against his free speech agenda since he bought Twitter, firing employees who criticized him online and threatening to sue those who leaked information to the media. Whew. Struggle for power. Musk also suspended and then reinstated journalists who shared information about a Twitter account called @ElonJet that tracks the movements of his private jets. Ives said that all of this has been a black eye moment for Musk and been a major overhang on Tesla's stock. But if Musk starts to begin to read the room and decides to resign as Twitter CEO, he argues it will be a major step forward. Now, Ives remains bullish on Tesla's fundamental story despite potential demand woes, and says shares should be worth around $250 by this time next year. Folks, this is some crazy stuff going on, but what do you guys think? Comment down below. I know we covered a lot of things, but I want to know what your thoughts are on any and all of these topics. I'll be sure to bring you guys some more information and new updates here soon. And also be sure to check the description for more links and more information on some of the topics that I discussed and others. You guys take care. Be safe. Bye.